Hello again. This is Jennifer Stay from Coloring Bliss, and we are going for part 2 now of this unboxing of my Derwent Inktense. I apologize for the problems YouTube is giving us. Hopefully we can have a smoother experience here for part 2. Okay, I don't know where we left off, but I'm just going to dive in here. And what we're going to do is do some quick swatching, and then we'll go on over to the color wheel and see if we can fill out a decent looking color wheel using these 36 pencils. And that will give us a good feel for this set. So I'm flipping over into my sketchbook to the color pencil paper section of my sketchbook. If you're interested in my sketchbooks, they have 3 different kinds of paper in them. It's kind of my dream sketchbook. So you can come on over to my website and check it out, my sketchbooks. So what we're going to do here, I think I'll pivot this around, and I'm going to do really quick swatching here, and then we'll hit them all with water and see what they do. And maybe we'll use the outliner here. And you guys can ask questions. I'll answer what I know about the Derwent Inktense. I've done a lot of research on them, and I have used them. I have used them during Inktober, so I know a little bit about them, but I haven't used them as much as I want to use them. And then any general coloring questions I can answer as well as we go along here. So I think I'll switch this around though, and we'll start with the yellows and swatch those really fast. I'm going to be the fastest swatcher ever here. And I'm not going to write their full names because then we'll be here for hours. I'm just going to write their number down, and that should help. And I'm going to use their outliner pencil to do that since they gave me one.
Shufum asks, are the Inktense ones you add water to? If so, will the colored pencil paper handle the water, or is mixed media a better choice?
That's a really good question. Yes, you add water to these pencils. You can color without the water, though. They're really vibrant pencils, as you're going to see here in a second. But when where they shine their most is when you hit them with the water. And what would you say, Steve?
As far as the paper?
Yeah.
Well, the paper, in the testing that we did, we discovered that if it's a paper that's for like inkjet or for laser printer, it's just not made to handle water. It just doesn't act right with water. So yeah, it'll work, right? But it seems like, wasn't it just always peeling up?
Yeah, it sort of balls up. The more water you add to the paper, the more it damages the paper. So there's things you can do to pre-treat your paper to make it handle it better. That's called gesso. A clear gesso on your coloring page is a great treatment. Or you can just go very light-handed and sort of accept the fact that it's going to do some damage. And maybe what we'll do here, if we have time, or maybe we'll do it in another video, is we will do some testing of my 3 different papers and show you what they'll do with the water. Because they all 3 react very differently to water. And I'm choosing to use the color pencil paper today because this is a color pencil, and you can build up layers and do some really pretty things with it before you hit it with the water. And the other thing you can do is do your first layer of coloring, hit it with water really gently, tiny bit of water, and start activating that ink. And then after it dries, or while it's still a little wet, come back with your pencil and layer more on. So if you have a bit of a toothy paper, it will hold and accept all those layers of this dry medium as you rub it in. So that's why I've chosen to use this page in my sketchbook today. But it would be an interesting experiment to try the other ones too. 0400.
Janine asked if you sharpen them like regular pencils.
Yep, they sharpened up really pretty, really nice. And I haven't even sharpened these once because of the way I ended up using them was with my wet brush and touching them to the tip of the pencil and kind of pulling the ink off with the wet brush and then going to my page. That was one of my favorite ways to apply color to the things I was doing during Inktober. So if you look at some of these tips, I don't know which one would show it the most. Maybe this one. It sort of has a divot on the side of the tip where I was touching it with a wet brush and pulling the ink off that way. That was a really fun way to use these pencils. And you can actually get these as not a pencil. You can get them in blocks. And then it's just the core in a, like, it almost looks like a pastel, like a soft pastel. They're called Inktense blocks. And I've considered buying those as well because that's, you can either color with the block or you can do, just like I explained just then, touch it with a wet brush and grab the ink that way to apply to your page.
Kelly said that you have to be careful with the Inktense because the color can still move a bit after drying.
Oh, so it's not totally permanent. Did they lie? That's really good to know because if you were planning on doing a layer of this and then come in with watercolor on top, and if it started to move, you'd sure be upset. Oh.
Tammy Siffer joined us today. She's
Hey,
feeling kind
Tammy.
of sad though. One of her dogs passed away.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, well, I send you a big hug. I'm so sorry. Darn it. Those little dogs are our little fur babies. I never knew before having Rose how much these little dogs crawl into our little hearts. I'm so sorry. Well, you're among friends. I know a lot of us have furry coloring companions here. We know how hard that is.
So Janelle said the non-soluble pencil is so you can lay down your drawing or sketch and then it won't budge once you hit your colors around it with water.
Okay, great. Like I said, I'm fine with them including a pencil. I just wish I had known about it, and maybe I should have just read better when I was ordering it through Amazon. I should have. Maybe after this I'll go read the description and see if I just missed something.
Luna was asking, she says that she's had similar water-soluble pencils.
Yeah.
And when she put water on them, they didn't do anything. The paper just got wet. So she's wondering how to do it so it'll work.
Watercolor pencils are just like any other color pencils. There's different qualities, and I've had similar experiences to what you're describing. I purchased a really inexpensive store brand of water-soluble pencils once, and when I brought it home and colored with it and hit it with water, almost no activation happened. And basically what that means is that pencil was like all filler and almost no pigment. And when you activated it, the filler sort of melted away and there was nothing left, hardly any pigment at all left. And so what I would encourage you to do is try a different kind of brand of pencil. I'm curious what brand you were trying. Like I have a set of Prismacolor water-soluble pencils that are beautiful. You hit those with water and they do some really neat things. They are a little chalky looking. The pigment at the end looks a little soft, and chalky's the best word I can give for that. I don't know. If we have time, I can compare and bring that set out and show you what I mean. The Inktense is supposed to be one of the most highly pigmented, vibrant, water-soluble pencil on the market, and the way they market it is that it's not a pencil, it's supposed to be ink. And like I said, I was like, well, what does that mean? Are you just using the word ink as a marketing ploy, or is it really, oh, I put the wrong number there. Or is it really some sort of powdery ink? And I went and I read on their website, and Derwent's website is bleh. That's my best description of Derwent's website. And so they say it's ink, that this is ink in here. But they don't like explain why. Like, why is that different than what's inside their other color pencils? They don't explain that at all. They didn't explain it to my.
All you know is they're beautiful, though.
They do good. When I hit it with water, you'll see. It really is quite an explosion of color here. So it's supposed to be ink inside this pencil. I don't know what that means.
It says, I think some paper are the reason Inktense doesn't stay permanent.
Ah, that could be it. Good point. And I wonder too if you haven't activated all of it, maybe when you come back and hit it with water again, maybe you're activating some remaining filler, which is letting go some more of the ink. That could be going on. Just a thought.
Adriana says, I love how you can talk and write at the same time. Great multitasking.
Well, I'm making mistakes, as you can see, and
She said that right before you made that mistake.
oh, okay. Well, I also try to do these live events when I'm a little sharper, because you guys, anybody with pain knows you get pain brain, and you can't think straight. And I'll get to a point where, like when I was counting to 36 over here, I was like, please be able to count to 36. Please be able, because I'll get to where I can't even like count to 36 in my own head. So I'm doing good. You're right. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Okay, 0840.
It says I use them on watercolor paper and have no problem with them lifting.
Oh, I bet they're beautiful on there.
Yeah. I mean, I think,
The truth is,
probably unfair to be testing on something that's not.
yeah. And the reason I'm testing it on this is because this is the kind of paper my coloring pages will be on. And I whenever I swatch, I tell you guys, you always swatch on the paper you're going to be working on. And so that's why I'm swatching on this paper. If I'm going to be creating art on watercolor paper, I would be swatching on watercolor paper. So at home, if you are using a certain cardstock, then I would say swatch on that cardstock. That's always been my recommendation, because every tool is going to react different on a different paper. And when we were researching papers, you can't believe the difference a different kind of paper makes. We took certain papers into our paper guy and tested it right there out on his counter. We were testing papers and could see right there huge differences between the papers with the same exact tools. So it really makes a difference.
Sounds like Kelly's experience has been that it just still moves even on watercolor paper or whatever, but
Yeah.
sounds like people have had kind of different experiences.
I wonder too if it's just part of it is some of that ink is still there and we haven't activated all of it. And when you come back with more water, you're reactivating some left behind.
Luna's curious to know if the colors get lighter or darker when you put water on them.
Well, let's find out here. I'm trying to...
When you say there's ink inside, it's obviously some kind of a dry... If they were doing it, it's a...
It's supposed to be ink. Like, this is not supposed to be...
Yeah, but not like liquid ink.
Right. This is supposed to be some sort of dry ink. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. So I went on to Derwent and I was like, okay, Derwent, teach me so I can teach everyone else. And I came away frustrated. So maybe someone else can find the information I couldn't find. Okay, I can't, is that a 1,000? I think so. 1,000.
Graceland says, my mom's friend gave me all your coloring tool pages.
Oh, awesome.
And I haven't got a chance to fill them out without my colored pencils, but hopefully she can help me.
Awesome. I've got a new video I recorded 2 or 3 days ago. It was probably Saturday. It was Saturday. So Steve and I are going to edit that, and it'll come up very soon. And it's a full video on how to use the color scheme selector, the premium color scheme selector. So that will help you as you're filling out your own. And we're going to hopefully get to that color wheel here in a second. I'm excited to hit all these colors with water. That's what I'm trying to get to here. Okay, this is Deep Indigo. 00. Lots of bluish colors in this set. Look at that pitiful amount of yellows. So sad. Why do they do that, Stephen? Tell me.
I don't know.
Okay. I wonder why that is. Like, is it just hard to make yellow? I have so many questions. Someday I want to, it would be awesome to visit like a place like Derwent or Faber-Castell.
Especially because they're in the UK, aren't they?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go there. And we'll visit Derwent. And I want to ask these questions. Like, why, what's
We
so
go visit
hard about
Kelly
it?
and our other friends.
Yeah, I'll go stay with them and we'll color together and we'll visit Derwent, have a factory tour, and we'll ask them all these questions. Well, I'm going to sit them down and say, is it really ink? Or are you just messing with me? Or is it just as beautiful as ink? Which I'm okay with. Like, it's just as intense as ink. That's great. I just want to know. I almost said, because knowing is half the battle. Do you guys remember that? Anybody can tell me what that's from? Because knowing is half the battle. That's going to show how old I am. 1300. This is teal green.
Adriana's looking forward to the color scheme selector video.
Oh, good. I'm excited for it
It's,
too.
Prepping the files as we speak, huh?
Did I re-record that last part of that video? I think I did, right?
Yeah, I think so.
By the time I got to the end of that one video, I was talk about pain brain. I couldn't hardly talk. And I was like, oh dear, I better think about re-recording the end of this the next day when I can talk again. I literally couldn't color and talk at the same time.
Earlier, Nancy said, also be careful using your brush over your picture because it's easy to flick ink on your paper. I learned that the hard way. I get the ink on my brush away from my picture. And Bitten says, but don't put your Inktense drawings in the sun. I learned that the hard way.
Oh, what happened?
They fade.
What? So they're not very water... I mean, what's the word? What's the technical word? Light fast.
Light fast, yeah.
Well, that's not good. I thought these were super duper light fast.
Oh yeah, Kim says these are not light fast. My set from the 90s was very fugitive.
Well, that's not good. Now, there are sprays, you guys, that you can buy that is a light fast spray. So you may want to look into that.
Lori said G.I. Joe. No,
Yep.
that's half the battle.
Yep, that's it. G.I. Joe. Haha, I'm not the only one. I'm a girl, and yes, I watched G.I. Joe. Do you remember that quote, Steve?
I mean, I remember it. I didn't remember where it came from, though.
Shame on you. You're a boy. You should have known.
Right. I don't think I ever really watched G.I. Joe.
What?
A little bit. But
It was awesome.
I was more into He-Man.
He-Man and the Masters of the
You watch him now,
Universe.
it's just so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Especially the Skeletor.
Yeah.
His voice is so silly.
And he's so overly muscular. He-Man was. It's so ridiculous. They talk about Barbie being too overly girly, but man, the boys had the same problem with their heroes. They were all misproportioned as well. Okay, we're going to move on to... I need to leave enough room to activate for water. I guess if we go up the middle-ish, this is probably middle here. He-Man, and then there was She-Ra. And the Smurfs, which they've all... Why haven't they made a new He-Man movie yet? We've got Smurfs. Did they have G.I. Joe? They probably didn't have G.I. Joe outside of the U.S., right? Because that would have been really U.S. That's a good question for you, and outside of U.S. Did you guys have G.I. Joe? Did they show G.I. Joe outside? He was a real American hero.
Yeah, that's true. It was very
G.I.
American,
Joe
wasn't
is there.
it? Luna's feeling like these ink tents aren't worth it if they're expensive and you have to put a spray, so they're light fast. She feels like it's a waste of money.
Yeah, hold your thoughts until you see it hit with water. That's where they get fun.
Trish is laughing, saying yes, both her sons loved He-Man. Every action figure.
I think I had a She-Ra with the... What did she ride? He-Man was on a tiger?
He was on Battle Cat, wasn't he?
Yeah! She-Ra was on something else. I think I had her with her thing that she rode for a little while. I can't find it anymore. It's probably worth like $500 if I could find it.
Yeah.
If I could find it, maybe it would. I could afford some Copic markers.
Benton says they're great. These ink tents are great for coloring books or greeting cards.
Cool.
Tammy says she still has her grumpy Care Bear.
Oh, Care Bears were so cute.
And Katie says no G.I. Joe in the UK.
Ah, I'm not surprised that you guys didn't have the real American heroes. That's pretty sad, you know. G.I. Joe, the real American heroes, and I wonder what they fought. Like, I don't remember who they were fighting, the G.I. Joes in the cartoon series.
Yeah, I mean,
1700.
and Kelly was saying that the non-soluble pencil can move a little bit too, so you have to be careful. But
Oh, this one here, okay. Derwent has their line of graphite water-soluble pencils that I am in love with. I think I've shown those. That is so weird. That tip looks like it's going to come out gray, and then it comes out the same color as the end. That was a very strange experience.
Lori says she believes there is a new Master of the Universe movie in production.
What? Oh, now we really have to go see if we have our old He-Man toys, because they'll probably be worth tons of money, and I can get my Copics.
That's right. Janine says, I have my Furby.
Oh, yeah. I remember Furby. I think I have... No, I keep going to write this number here because I keep thinking about other things. Okay, 1720.
Creative and Happy says, hi there.
Hello.
And they're wondering if Inktense core is dry pigment pressed with some sort of binder. Like if you would let ink dry on a surface, you would end up with the pigment.
Oh,
I'm wondering
see?
if maybe that's what it is.
Why can't Derwent site say that? Just outright, you know? Like, I really want to know.
Somebody's wondering if they don't want to give up their secrets.
Ah, could be. Good point.
Bitten says they're on sale in Denmark, very cheap.
Are they?
I would imagine they're in the if they're in the UK,
Yeah,
a little better.
Well, the colors are very vibrant. I haven't done any burnishing, which burnishing is when you push really hard and basically, you basically squash the tooth of the paper by pushing really hard the pigment down into the crevices and cracks and valleys of the paper. I haven't done any of that here, so we're getting this bright of color without me doing any burnishing. That's pretty impressive. If I was doing this much pressure with inexpensive pencils like Crazy Art, Crayola, those kind school brands, we wouldn't be getting this deep of pigment, and that's why people really rave about Inktense, that you can get this kind of color even before you hit it with water. And then when you touch it with the water, it goes even more vivid.
Kim says She-Ra wrote a Battle Cat called Cringer.
Battle Cat, that's what it was.
Cringer.
Thank
They
you.
were both Battle Cats, right? Weren't they?
Yeah, but they look different.
Yeah. She says it was Cringer.
And it was kind of a scaredy cat, wasn't it?
Or was that He-Man's that was a scaredy cat?
Oh, now we have to know. Because knowing is half the battle, people. Oh, man, we're really going back to the 80s now.
Adriana says, I love when you say, yeah, you sound so Canadian.
Oh, really? Was that my Canadian coming out?
I don't know. I say it too, though.
Maybe you say it because we've been married forever and you got it
possibly.
from me. We've been...
Janine named her cat Cringer.
That's awesome. If we get another cat, we should name it Cringer. This pencil, the paint on it is terrible. This is going to be a horrible pencil to color with. I might have to take some sandpaper to it. It's really rough. That's going to be a nasty pencil. That's the only one that has felt like that so far, though. So you have to, you know.
Kim says that Derwent is doing a packaging update, so old packages are on sale.
Oh, is that why they've all dropped in price? Oh.
And Jennifer says, what about Pound Puppies or the Strawberry Shortcake?
I had a Pound Puppy. It was like brown with big floppy ears and strawberry shortcake. I can still smell it. Can you guys smell it right now? Can you smell her? I can totally smell strawberry shortcake right now. Oh, it's so weird how strong smells are. I remember sitting in the back of my mom's van before you had to be seatbelted. Remember those days when you didn't have to be seatbelted? Riding in the back of my mom's van, smelling the head of my strawberry shortcake. And brushing her hair. They had little plastic brushes. I can smell her hair right now. I'm going back to the 80s.
Ringer.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Kim says He-Man had a battle cat named Ringer, which was a coward.
Oh.
Until he turns into He-Man.
And then they're vicious.
By
And
the power of Grayskull.
that's right. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
Kelly says, I like to put, let's see, I like to color a picture with these. I just need to take a water brush out with me.
Yeah.
Anywhere she goes.
Yeah, and I've got some water brushes here to show you guys. This one is the Indian ink one. I'm curious about this one here. 2020. Okay. I love my water brushes, and I was over at my mom's house the other day. She's wanting to get into coloring more, and so she was asking me what my advice was on how she should begin. And I mentioned to her about water brushes, and she didn't know about water brushes. And I was kind of shocked because she's around me all the time, and I was like, well, I'm not educating my own mother. I've been remiss. So I was like, man, if she hasn't bought one come Mother's Day, then that's what she's getting. She's getting water brushes because they're fantastic. Especially for little to-go packets. And I think I'm going to take all these Derwents and put them into a pencil roll so I can haul them around better, especially where this tray was acting so weird. Maybe that's why they're repackaging, because their trays are so lame. So weird. Sorry, I should be... Okay, that was the charcoal gray, and that color is almost identical to that Indian... What did they call it? Indian ink. These three might as well be the same. We'll see what they look like when we hit them with water, but I'm kind of discouraged at this point. They could have given me better colors. More yellows! Okay, let's try black.
See, I told you should have bought the 72.
Steven, don't say that! So mean. That's okay,
Sounds
ladies. I've got my birthday coming. I'll get him back.
Dana is originally from Canada too. She was saying,
Oh.
you're from Canada, and wondering where you were from.
Yeah,
Adriana told her from Calgary.
yeah, I was born in Calgary. I only lived there for 9 years, so I don't remember much about the area. We went back and visited. The last time I was there, I think I was 18, so that was a long time ago. And I really want to go back. I want to go back and see it all and kind of, you know, what do I remember? What do I remember wrong? And I know it's changed a ton, so it'll be fun to go back. and I want to travel around and see Banff again and all those beautiful places. I'm going to put a little white down, although it's not really going to do much, but I still would like to activate it with water and see what it does on white. And then we're going to grab some black paper here and test it. In fact, I wonder if I have some handy. Okay, I'm going to see if I've got a piece of black paper handy here. Usually in my scrap bin, I try to keep stuff like that. And there's nothing there, of course. Okay, let's see if I've got any in this bin. Nope. And one more place I can check here before I have to stand up. Okay, bear with while I get some black paper. Anybody know what that's from? Bear with. Bear with. It's not a cartoon. I just need
Lisa was born in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Oh.
Family still lives there.
Okay. I'm going to just bring this whole thing of black paper over because we're always using it on live events. So I don't know why I haven't brought it over by now. All right. This is going into my paper drawer. Don't step on the cat. Okay. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. This is just some inexpensive black paper I picked up at Michael's on sale one day. Nothing special. We're going to take a little piece here. Not too long. About like that. Okay. And we'll tape it in right above it here. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now we'll color onto the white. I'm so excited to see what this white is going to do. Going to do. So the other day I was watching a show from, I think it was New Zealand, and I heard her say gnu. And here I thought it was an American slang that I hate that word, gnu. I've been trying to break myself from saying gnu. And she said it. She was in New Zealand, and I'm pretty sure she is a native New Zealander. So I was wondering which countries say gnu. 2300, that's that white. Okay, we'll see what white's going to do.
Dana thinks it's the Utah accent coming out of us.
Is it the Utah? See, but that New Zealander said gnu.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Okay, maybe she's been listening to too many Utah YouTubers. Okay, bring over my, I've got a water brush here that already has water in it, I think. Oh!
I'll be back in a minute.
Hey, Steve, I don't have water in my water brush. Would you mind?
Okay.
Okay, while he gets that, I'm also going to grab a little bit of water to clean the tip with, so when we go from color to color, if it needs cleaning off. So I prefer to use a water brush, unless some water brushes let too much water through. Oh, that's my garage door you can hear right now. That's my son coming home from school. Thank you. Okay, this water brush is, I picked up a 3-pack from Crafter's Companion. It came with a small, medium, and large, and so far I'm pretty happy with it. I think this is the medium tip, so we'll play with that one. And let's start hitting it with water. Right now would be a good time to hit share in case you think someone you know might like to see what these Derwent Inktense look like with a little bit of water on it. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. This is the part we've all been waiting for. Okay, so we want to make sure there's a good clean tip because we don't want to take any pigment from color to color, because this is sort of going to be my swatches for until I can make an official swatch page. So, and this tip is a little bit dyed a little gray because I've been using that Derwent graphite soluble pencil, sorry, and it does kind of dye the tips gray, so that's why you're seeing it with a little bit gray. So here we go, but it is clean. So here we go. I can't wait. Okay, this is gonna be the best part, and we're gonna kind of drag the color out a ways as well. So we'll activate it here and drag it out. Okay. Now we got to get a paper towel. Sorry, I have to get up again. I've ordered from Amazon. I finally found a paper towel holder to get a better permanent place for my paper towels. So that should be here by the end of February. No more climbing around my studio for paper towels. Okay, that's better. And to clean your brush tip, you can either, of course, dip into water, which sort of, you know, a water brush you shouldn't have to dip into water. You can just squeeze and get a little extra water to come through to clean the bristles. But I kind of want to reserve what water's here, so I may just swish it in this little cup here and get the water out. That's my plan. But if I was working on it like at the couch, where I usually do my coloring, I would just squeeze a little extra water out to clean the tip. Okay, there's the yellow. I'll do a few and then I'll bring it up to the screen a little closer so you can see. Well, Rose sat up. She's interested. Rose is my little Maltese dog, in case you don't know. She has a dog bed right here next to me, right at my elbow, here in my art studio. Okay, now this one I'm having to work it a little bit more with my bristles to get the little pigment going. That's interesting. Let me bring it up so you can see what I'm talking about. You see how it, like the specks of pigment need a little work to get them broken down and the color moving. See that? Takes it just a second to get going. We'll see if that's unique to that particular color or if there's more. And I'm curious to see too, as they dry, do they get more vivid or do they get speckly, or what are they going to do? So some, you know, watercolors act differently as they dry. So that all of that's going to be very interesting as we go here. And hopefully YouTube is going to behave and not kick us off as we're playing here. Okay. Here we go to 030. Ooh, pretty orange. This one makes me think of dreamsicles. Do you guys have dreamsicles outside the US? They're like a vanilla ice cream on the inside on a popsicle stick with an orange, like a sherbet type coating. It's so yummy. Okay, Steve will be back in a second to help me read the chat better. I think he went to say hi to Carter. Carter hurt his knee the other day ice skating. So today's his first day back to school. So hopefully his day went good. These two reds are very similar when they get wet. That's interesting. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
We're finally getting wet here.
Oh, good.
And I asked them to share for me so people could see the fun of them finally getting wet. And I asked them if they knew what dreamsicles were, because color 0300 made me think of dreamsicles. How's Carter? Did he survive his first day back?
Yeah, it was hard.
Oh, no fun. Excuse me. Oh, let's see what this one does. Whoa, look at that one go. Pretty. Very pretty. Okay, let's see this next one. You guys know me, purples are very important to me, so hopefully all these different shades of purple will impress. This is that one that I already had from Inktober. Rose is very interested in this. Ooh, pretty. Clean that tip off. I'll bring it up so you can see how it's going. This one back here, not quite dry yet. Very interesting.
Let's see.
Okay, I think this is the other one that I had already, this 0740. Let's see how that one reacts. Oh yeah, this is that other purple I have. Isn't that a gorgeous color? So pretty. Of course, the farther you pull it, the more water you're introducing to the pigment, so it kind of lightens the color. So down here, where the first time you touch it, that's going to be the most vivid place of color because there's less water added. And the more you pull that color out, the more watered down that pigment's going to be.
Let's see. I'll try to get caught up on some of these.
Okay.
Oh, Dana's in West Jordan.
Oh, well, you're just practically a hop, skip, and a jump. Is that what they say?
Yeah. We lived in West Jordan for a while.
Yeah, we did. For what, 5 or 6 years?
Let's see. Clean the tip. Can you show the brush tip closer to the camera? I don't know if you've covered some of this.
Oh, no, I didn't show the brush tip closer. So it has a little, this is the area that has the water in it. That's the cap to protect the tip, which I love. It actually clicks on super great, this brand does. I've had other brands where the cap doesn't stay on. And then it has the valve system right here, which holds the water back, but it does allow a small amount through. If you want extra to go through, you just squeeze right here and it forces extra water through. And then that's the medium length bristles. It's just a nylon bristle and it works really good. This brand I've been happy with so far.
And Creative and Happy says you've put down some pretty legit amount of pigment, gal.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is fun.
Mitten says Wink of Stella will activate Inktense too.
Oh,
that's very nice.
That's a great idea. Then you get the nice sparkle in with it. That's a great idea. Be fun to activate it with watercolor too.
Lisa asked if off-brand pencils work this well too.
Not all. I've had, I think it was, I don't like to speak ill of any, I'm going to speak ill. It was a Hobby Lobby kit I bought. It was in a wood box and it had watercolors in tubes, watercolors in pans, and then it had watercolor pencils. And those were the most terrible watercolor pencils. You might as well just throw them on a fire and use them for firewood. They would be more useful, honestly. So they were terrible. That's when I almost gave up on watercolor pencils. And then my mom had a set of watercolor pencils that were, I think, Reeves brand. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to check what brand they were. So I tried hers just to see if I should keep working with them. And sure enough, once you hit those with water, beautiful things happened and I got excited again. And so I tried the Prismacolor line and they were beautiful. And the Prismacolor line are supposed to work in conjunction with the Prismacolor Premier pencils. So I thought, since I invested in the Prismacolor Premier pencils, I would invest in the Prismacolor water-soluble pencils. And that's as far as I've gotten so far until today with these ones.
Looks like there were some comments about frozen ice cream. Wondering what dreamsicle. Did you explain what a dreamsicle was?
I did, with the vanilla in the middle.
Yeah.
So yummy. Okay. I think that blue, look how strong that blue was. It dyed the tips of that nylon. But look how pretty. Look how pretty those blues are. Oh my goodness. That one especially. Oh, wow.
Kelly was disappointed with the purples. Not a very nice bluish purple.
Yeah, kind of, I don't know. Purples and yellows. Most sets just seem to fail us in the purple and yellow land.
Luna says, was it hard to start a channel?
Yes. It was. We had a neighbor who had he has two channels, an art channel that he doesn't take care of very much. I don't know. I haven't checked recently to see if he's been doing much. But he also has like a do-it-yourself, fix up things around your house channel that he does a lot. So we invited him over and he gave us some hints. But a YouTube channel is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. The editing of the videos is so time consuming. I cannot tell you how time consuming editing videos is. But I know a lot of YouTubers say this, and it is so true. If you pick a topic that you're passionate about and you love sharing your knowledge on, then it feels like less work. So because I love art, I love sharing my knowledge of art with you guys, then it doesn't feel quite so much like I'm just doing tons of work. And I get excited. Like, I don't want to just open these pencils on my own. I want to do it with you guys because I know it will be more fun if we do it together. So then it's not, like I'm not sitting here working right now. I'm sitting here playing. So it's fun. So that's what I would recommend. Pick a subject that you love and do a YouTube channel involved in that, and then if it takes you years to get it up and going, it won't be so hard. I don't know, how many years have we had this channel up now?
Well, we've had it for a while. We didn't really get serious until about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that same guy said the same thing. Plan on if you're going to do it consistently, and plan on it taking a year or two before you even start making much money at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so lopsided in the beginning. You put in tons and tons of hours and make almost nothing.
Yeah. And the monetization rules have changed recently on YouTube. And it feels like it's punishing the small channels. And in a way it is. You have to get to a certain level before they'll start monetizing your channel now. And that can be discouraging. But it also protects YouTube in general. That's kind of a pukey color. It reminds me of trout. Anyway, it protects YouTube so that it won't have like a whole bunch of just spammy channels. So that's why they've changed that rule. At least that's what they say. Hopefully they're being honest about that. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love, right? It is for me, at least.
Adriana was saying that she has some Statler watercolor pencils. Do you know how they compare to Inktense?
Nope. I've never tried the Statler watercolor pencils. I have some of their standard pencils, but not their watercolor.
Let's see. Dana's moving to Lehigh. Yes. Oh, yeah. Kelly answered, Janine, yes, this video will be available afterwards.
Yeah, the video will, but the chat won't. So that's why Steve reads out the questions so that in the audio of the video, the question will be there.
And then there was Adriana and Kelly talking about the difference between ink and watercolor. What's the difference?
Did they have any comments, or were they just asking?
No, Jen, can you explain the difference between ink and watercolor, please?
If we're talking about the Inktense pencils and watercolor pencils, I think that's what the question is. I don't know. Derwent claims that it's different, that it is actual ink that I'm activating here, that something in their pencil is different than watercolor pencils. And I don't know if I buy it. I wish, maybe I need to send an email to Inktense and see if they will tell me what the difference is. So, which I don't care. Like I said, if it's just as intense as ink, then that's great. You know, it's a beautiful water soluble pencil. But they claim that it has to do with that it is ink in their pencil that's being activated, but they're not sharing anything beyond that. So I would love to get more information because I want to be educated on these things. I want to know. I would love it. I want to know. I would love like
What was
one of
that from?
those Mr. Rogers videos where they show how it's made. I'd love that kind of a video. Look how dark that color is. Wow, that one has tons of pigment. What was that one? That was the 2000. Let's see, that was black. No, bark. That's bark.
Creative and Happy says, I have some Stapler watercolor pencils. They don't compare to the Inktense in terms of vividness and brightness.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Christine just joined us and was just asking what we're doing.
I just got this awesome 36 set of Derwent Inktense. So right now we are swatching it out and seeing how awesome they are when you touch them with water. What happens when you touch them with water? And I was a little discouraged by this end because it felt like these four looked the same before they were hit with water. So I'm excited to see what's happening here. I'm going to bring it up to the screen really close so you guys can see what these four do when they're touched with water. So I don't need 4 blacks in a very small set of 36. So we'll see what it's done here. And some of these I think we can cheat and use them in yellow for my color wheel. Like this 1700, we might be able to pull over into the yellow for the color wheel. So hopefully. Okay. Oh, I didn't activate the white. Sorry, white. Okay, make sure this is really good and clean for the white. I'm going to squeeze this tool because this water now is really nasty. And I want really clean water through the bristles. So I'm going to squeeze the tool and have lots of drips of water go through to clean those bristles. And make sure it's really clean. I'm going to activate the white I put on the white page and not expect anything to happen. And clean the bristles one more time. And now here we go. This is the one where we're going to see what it does.
You can get ink. Are all of the Inktense pencils available open stock?
Yes. Okay. Oh, it's not in the screen. Let me bring it down. I got it wet and it sort of has disappeared. Let's see what it does as it dries. So far, I'm not impressed. Okay, but we will save our judgment till it dries, right? Okay, but that's the whole page. Now this is my standard color pencil paper. I wasn't super careful about the amount of water I was adding, but I didn't like huge amounts of drips of water here. I was careful, and using these kinds of brushes does help you, control your amounts of water. And we did get some bleed through on this one right here. I must have dripped some water, and so these do have the potential of bleeding through. That is very interesting. Good to know. Okay, when I feel the page, the water has changed the texture of the page slightly, but not too bad. Like I feel like I could come back over and color some more. The paper is warped, but that's to be expected with adding water to paper that is not intended for water.
Which paper are you coloring on right now?
This is our color pencil paper in the sketchbook, so it's the heavy weight.
Oh, so it's... Okay.
It's the heavyweight one. And that water, once you hit that white with water, it's just disappearing. It's not doing anything. That's sad. So the water and the white don't play well together. Have you guys had that same experience? Okay, now we're going to see if we can build a color wheel. Do we have enough colors in the 36 set to build a pretty color wheel? That's the next question, people. So I'm going to grab a color wheel to compare to.
Let's see, Dana asked, have you tried Faber-Castell watercolor pencils yet?
No, I haven't. How are they?
Oh, and Kim, was it Kim, I think, who said that she has the Caran d'Ache Aquarelle water
Oh,
soluble pencil.
well, if they have the Caran d'Ache name, you would expect some good things out of them. So you'll have to let us know how they are. Okay, I have an entire color scheme selector downloadable tool called the Premium Color Scheme Selector. Now, you can use any color wheel you want to help you choose your color wheel colors. But if you want an entire tool that you can download, follow the link in the video description and it will take you to my tool. I designed this tool. It's like a 12-page download at this point, although we may be adding more pages. If you want this downloadable tool though, you need to become a premium member on my website. I also have a free color wheel you can download that's blank and empty that you can color on too. But the Premium Color Scheme Selector comes with all kinds of additional tools. It's awesome. It is worth, just this tool alone is worth the cost of membership, which is only $5. And it's an awesome way to support all this kind of content that I produce here on my YouTube channel. You also get access to all the coloring pages, which is over 400 at this point on the library on my website. So if you've ever considered becoming a premium member, then I encourage you just for this tool alone to become a premium member so you can download it and use it. The way I do it is when you download this tool, you get a blank tool as well. And I build these blank wheels for different tools so that I can use the color scheme selectors with all my different tools. So when I sit down to color with my Derwent Inktense next time, I can choose color schemes built right from my Derwent Inktense pencils. It is awesome, and there's going to be a whole new video coming up very soon just to teach you about this tool alone. So because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this tool. But what we're going to do right now is see if these 36 pencils give us a good range to build a color wheel. It's kind of a good way to test and see if a certain set is a good full range of colors. Sometimes a set you find, wow, there's a big empty, they didn't give us hardly any greens. That's a ripoff. That's what you'll learn when you try to build a color wheel from one set. And then you'll know, you know what, I need to buy a few open stock to fill out that gap that they left me in my set. So that is why we're going to build a color wheel from this set. See if I need to order a few extra open stock pencils to fill out any gaps. And Rose keeps kissing my hand. What do you need, little Rose? You need to get down? Okay, here goes Rose. She's getting down. Around the other way. Okay. She probably wants to go check on Carter and see if he had a good day at school. So what I'm going to do is when I pick my color with my Inktense, since they're water activated, I'll probably just color part of the pie wedge and then we can activate it with water the rest of the way. That's probably what I'll do. So I'm going to bring up my wheel and we're going to try to find whichever pencil works best for each wedge. That's my plan. So I might ask you guys to help me pick colors because color is so subjective. Sometimes I get in my head and I get stuck. Is it that blue? Is it that blue? Is it this blue? Is it that blue? Because it'll be in between. So we're going to help. You guys are going to help me because it can get tricky. So, okay, I'm bringing these pencils back over and we've got the yellows. We'll start with yellow because I think it's just going to come between these two yellows right here, 0200 and 0100. And I'm thinking this one right here is brighter and fuller. So I'm going to go with 0200. Which is Sun Yellow is the one I'm going to pick. So if you have some Inktense pencils, or if you're like me and you dove in and took advantage of this awesome Amazon deal, you can write down which colors I pick for my wheel, and then you can build a wheel for yourself at home too. So I'm going to choose, you can tell me if you pick a different color too, I'd love to know. I'm going to choose 0200 for my yellow on my wheel. and I've got a nicer, I don't know if this pen still works. We're going to find out. We're going to write above it 0. Yeah, this pen is dead. It's going into the graveyard of pens. I have so many dead pens. Let's see how this one works. 0, 2, 0, 0, and then I'm going to write across the top of this color wheel that I'm using the Derwent Inktense 36 count. Although it's only 35, Stephen. Yes, I'm a little bitter about that. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to use. I'm going to set it to the side. And we're going to pick the next one. Yellow orange looks like this. And because we have the swatch now, we can see both the unwater activated and the water activated version, and that's going to help us pick a good color because they are a little different, the two. And we've got these down here we need to remember. So Steve, are you going to help me too? Because this is always hard. The tertiary and the, what are they called? What's the secondary? The secondary and the tertiary are always the hardest for me to choose for some reason. Tertiary are the ones with two names, like yellow, orange. That's a tertiary. And orange is a secondary color. For some reason, that's where my eye starts playing games. So we have this color here, which would work for either yellow, orange, or orange. Or we could come down here and play in these browns. That one is awfully pretty. We also have a red orange we have to pick. So we have to keep our options open. What do you guys think? I'm kind of leaning towards this one for the yellow orange. And maybe that one for the red orange. See, this is why this gets really tricky. Which one is yellow orange and which one is red orange?
Ultra says, where are the crayons? I have my 10 crayons in my box.
Yeah. We need to build one with some crayons, don't we?
You could.
Yeah. That's why you could print as many of these blank ones off as you want from the Color Scheme Selector PDF and build one of these wheels for your markers, for your gel pens. You can build as many of these wheels as you want. And then when you sit down to color, if you're using your markers, you pull out your marker color wheel. It's a pretty cool way to do this. Okay. So I'm going to bring up the actual pencil.
And Kelly say you can mix the Inktense colors to make your own colors.
Yeah, you definitely can. What I'm trying to do here is to use the actual pencil in the wedge, and then later, of course, you can mix all you want. But I'm thinking 0240 for the yellow orange, and whoa, the end matches almost perfectly. Look at that. So, and then that one is probably going to end up being my red orange down here. So that's the plan. Next one is 0240. So we'll write that down. Good. And set it to the side. So orange now. This is the orange that we're going to be comparing it to. That orange is really pinky right there, especially when we get water activated into it, but I still think it's probably our best bet. Okay, so 0300 is probably, it's the Tangerine, and it matches really good at the end. I'm a little questioning actual color, but I think it's our best one. Okay, 0300. These color wheels are beautiful once they're colored up too. They would look so pretty all displayed up on your wall. Wouldn't that be a pretty wall? To have like 5 or 6 different color wheels all displayed. It would be so pretty. Okay, red orange. I was guessing, see, these all go to a really purpley place here. So I'm guessing we're going to have to come over here and grab this 1800 for our red orange. What do you think, Steve?
I can't see it.
That one for red orange. versus any of these up here.
I can't. Sorry, I can't see your point. Oh yeah, yep.
Okay, 1800. Come down here to 1800. Baked Earth. Their names are always funny. 1800. Do you guys have a brand that you think have the strangest names for colors? I have one that I think has the strangest names for colors. I would like to hear what brand you think has the strangest names for colors. Okay, now red, we probably could either do this one here. Is probably the most, I don't know, that one is, I don't know. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's see what the end of the pencil would tell us to do. 0400 is poppy red. Or I'm wondering about 510. This one seems a little too much blue in it or something. I don't know. Come back, pencil. Okay. I am wondering between these two. Whoa, that one looks really dark on the end. 510 is this one. Oh dear, I don't know. The ends would say to go with poppy red. Do they have a brand that they think has funny names?
Ultra says they found some bootleg colors called Big Boy colors, and they were next to Little Girl colors.
Uh-huh. That's funny. I can't decide. I don't know. Now I'm wondering about 500 too. Let's bring 500 up. This one's called Chili Red.
Oh, creative and happy. You're German. She says it sounds funny when I say the name. She likes it though. Creative and happy. I don't know German. I'm not even going to try.
You're going to try it in German?
I do see that it says und.
Oh, und happy.
But she says translations from English to German make funny names sometimes.
Oh, I bet. I can't decide, you guys. Chili Red is this one. Why is this so hard? Are we losing all the viewers while I sit here and can't decide between my reds?
I don't know.
500. Tell me just to pick one.
Just pick one. Here, I'll pick it for you.
Okay, which red? These are the three.
Hold up your color wheel for me.
Those are the three. 400, 500, or 510.
Like from here, 400 looks the most red to me.
Okay. Okay, 400 it is. I think Steve has a better eye for color than I do.
Oh, it sounds like they agree.
Oh, good. Thank you, you guys. You don't know how much time I sometimes spend trying to pick a color.
It took forever when you were doing those Triton sets for the...
Oh, yeah. Then when you try to
Those
expand
days.
it to a light and a dark with that, oh my word, that took me forever.
And then you come back later on and the light's slightly different and it looks totally different.
It was horrible. Okay, red violet now. I'm thinking 610, but is that too blue violet? If we come back into, see, that's very blue violet right there. Maybe that one. It's between 610 or 700 for red violet. Maybe that one. 610. Whoa.
Yeah, that one right there.
Okay.
What is that? Oh, wait a minute. What was...
Did you just say that just to get me to pick one?
No, what's the one below? Like 740, is that what that says? So you're saying that 740,
Okay.
that looks red violet to me.
We have to pick a violet, a red violet, violet, and blue violet, and they need to make sense as together, you know. So red violet, if we go for 610 as red violet, and then
Oh, okay, yeah.
this one as violet, and then maybe this one as blue violet. See, that's the problem. You think you know what violet is until you start thinking, but is that violet or is that red violet or is that blue violet? this is why I encourage everybody to do this, because it will teach you what color really is. Because violet is violet, but is it red violet or is it blue violet? And so you really have to look at them side by side across on your set.
Because 800 looks like violet to me.
Or is it blue violet?
And then, because I'm looking at your color wheel.
And the
But
color
again,
wheel.
then again, it's just, the color, and that's not like a color corrected color wheel.
Right. This color wheel, we color correct it on our program. And then when it comes out of your printer is going to do a little color correcting as well. So it might not come out true. So that's when you look over at your colors and you think, okay, which one is redder? Which one is violeter? Which one is blue violeter? Do you guys get my drift?
Yeah,
so
I would say 740's red violet, 800's violet. Blue violet, though, like you're saying. That's
so do
where,
we shift down and
don't really have
go
a blue violet.
red violet here,
Yeah,
violet here,
and
and blue violet
yeah.
here.
Yeah, just because they don't really seem to have a blue violet.
Right, because we're trying to build out of this 36. Now, like someone said, we could mix colors, but if the goal is to pick an individual pencil. Do you see now, everyone, why this is so difficult? So we're going to go for 610. Is that what they're saying to do? 610 for red violet.
Yeah.
Are we all agreeing? 610 for red violet.
Ish, yeah.
Ish. See, color is subjective, and this is not a right or a wrong. You get to build your own color wheel for you. And if I decide to buy more purples, this color wheel may change. So 610, we've decided, is what I'm going to do for red violet. And then I'm going to pull 740 for my violet color, which I think is this one. Is this 740? Yep. 740 for violet. And that's why I say it's a great idea to build a color wheel for each set of your tools that you use most. And then 800 for violet. And actually, that one is called violet, but we're using it as blue violet. See, so you have to ignore the names and look at your swatches.
Yeah, I wonder what your your color wheel that you got from the art store would be the better one to, I guess, compare to.
Yeah, but we're going to use the one that we printed off. Okay, we did it. Whew. Do you guys see now why this can be so tricky? But we have learned a lot about our violets, and this is why you do this with your sets, because then you learn, well, my 36 set is great, but I wish I had more yellows, or I wish I had more of this or that. So it's such a good exercise to do. So worth it. And then when you start building your light, mediums, and darks off of this one pencil, you'll learn, yeah, I definitely need to buy more purples. So this is so worth the time, especially if this is a set you've invested in and you want to do a lot of coloring with. So worth the time. Okay, blue. Okay, now again, you look at your blues and everything to the side. We have to decide, it has to make sense with the blue violet we picked, and it has to make sense on its own and with the blue green that we're going to pick. Okay, so we picked, oh, Rose wants to come up. She's staring at me like, hey, Mom. Okay, Rose, now you have to stay up here. Okay, here she comes. Swing her through. Okay, she's back in her spot. Okay, so the blue violet we picked was 800. So this is our starting spot. Now we're going to pick a blue that makes sense with it. And this is our example. And we're going to pick a blue-green too, probably while we're here. Their blue-greens are kind of sad, aren't they? We have some greens down here too. Let's not forget those. Okay, blue violet is 800. So this is where we've left off right here. Okay, so blue could be 820, or we could drop down to, ooh, that 1000. I'm liking that 1000. What do you guys think? 1000? Is that what they think? I'm thinking 1000. Do they agree, Steve?
Sorry, I'm looking. Yes, 1,000 blue.
Okay. Blue for 1,000. And then blue-green. Oh dear. They kind of are lacking in blue-green. There's this 1,300 that is a bluish green. And I don't know. If we do that one as our blue, 1,000, right? Isn't that what we picked? Yeah, 1,000 is our blue. They really don't have a good blue-green in this set. 1,300 is, to my eye, the most blue-green, especially when you look at it up here before the water activates it. Don't you think, Steve?
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a good dark to go with that one, the 1310. So I'm leaning towards 1,300. What do they think?
Yeah, Kim says need a 1250.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe there is one in that 72 set that Steve keeps saying I should have bought. Okay, teal green is what they're calling it. 1,300 is our blue green. Okay. And I'm going to put a note over here that I could buy blue greens. I'm seeing a need for that already. Okay. And then we need a green, a pretty green. So this is our blue green. 1,500's looking greeny. That's a really pretty yellow green right there. So something between that one, I don't know, maybe, are we thinking 1,500 for our blue green? I mean our green. Oh. This one I'm thinking yellow green.
Yeah, that's yellow green. Or 1530 is even a yellow green, sort of.
It's more of a dark yellow green.
With the water, it definitely goes more yellow green. But yeah, I agree. 1,500 is green.
1,500.
And that 1,400 is a great yellow green.
Okay, so 1,500 for green and 1,400. Okay, I think we did it. Make sure I put them in the right place. 1,500 right here and 1,400. Very good. Okay. So the one thing color wheels don't cover is neutrals like browns and tans. But when you build your lights and darks off of the main color, you usually bring in those colors. So that's why our browns didn't get touched. The other thing a color wheel doesn't cover is grays. And this set is very lacking in the grays. We've got some dark grays here that if we add lots of water to, we could get some light grays. But they didn't come up with any light gray. And of course our white is still didn't do anything after it dried. It just stayed, it just sort of disappeared. So the white doesn't work with water. You would want to stick with just a dry pencil for the white. And we never did test to see if the pencil itself would activate, but I assume it wouldn't, so.
Oh, Amanda's going to really make you wish you had the 72. She says it's funny they don't have a nicer blue-green in there. There are some really beautiful ones in the 72
No! I see some open stock pencils coming my way. All right, so the next step is what I would do is I'm going to be coloring up this color wheel, and I'll be hitting it with some water to get some good effects on it, and then this will go into my book so that I can use it with my full color scheme selector. So that's what I would do next. So What I'm going to do is color that up, and I will post the finished artist color wheel with the Derwent Inktense onto my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me there at, am I Coloring Bliss or Coloring Pages Bliss on Instagram?
Coloring Pages Bliss.
Okay, I'm Coloring Pages Bliss on Instagram, so make sure you're following me there so that you can see the finished artist color wheel there. And also make sure you have subscribed and the little notification bell, you hit that so that you can be notified when we upload the full video on how to use the full color scheme selector. That will be going up in the next day or two. It's going to take a day or two to edit that video, and then that one will go up. And if we can, we'll make a blog where I'll take a really good color corrected photo of this and the finished color wheel with all my color selections. We'll make a full blog post with all of this there for you guys if you want that. Yeah, but I think I need to take a break. We've been on here for, I'm sure, over an hour. I apologize for the problems YouTube gave us on the part 1, part 2 of this video, but we do what we can do, right? I will also be live tomorrow on Facebook at 12:30 Mountain Time, so join me over there. I have a new coloring page, actually 2 new coloring pages that I'll be releasing tomorrow. I might even do some coloring in that with the Inktense pencils to show you how to use them in an actual coloring situation. So join me tomorrow to do that. It's Olympic themed, although we're not allowed to use the word Olympic on the page anywhere at all. So it's not Olympic, it's figure skating themed. So come tomorrow to my Facebook event. If you can't join me there, that's fine. You can still download that page. It will be for premium members though. So there again is another reason to sign up as a premium member. It's just $5, so well worth the $5. Thanks for joining me. Remember, another way to support me is to share, like, comment, all those good things that you guys always hear from us YouTube creators to do. So I appreciate all your support. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. It was so much fun. You guys are fantastic, and we'll see you tomorrow on Facebook. Bye-bye, everybody.